Former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Dr. YSR was a popular Chief Minister who had been re-elected for a second time. He was known for frequently reaching out to the people, particularly in rural areas. It was in keeping with his nature that he decided to start a people's outreach program called Rachabanda, which means village platform, to meet villagers in their own village on surprise visits and find out their problems. On the 2nd of September 2009, he wanted to start the program at Anup village in Chittoor district. He planned to start early at 7:30 a.m. on that day to attend the Rachabanda program and also some other programs in Chittoor and Ongole districts. He took off more than an hour late than the scheduled 7:30 a.m. The helicopter was flown by Group Captain S.K. Bhatia and co-pilot M. Satyanarayan Reddy. Accompanying the Chief Minister were his Principal Secretary P. Subramaniam and Chief Security Officer A.S.C. Wesley. The helicopter had a smooth passage till 8:58 a.m. when the pilot started encountering clouds. Between 9:12 and 9:16 a.m., the pilots talked about red patches on the radar and claimed that they had cleared red, indicating that they travelled through dangerous CV clouds. They also commented that the weather ahead was deteriorating rapidly. At 9:18 hours, the pilot decided not to go right and instead proceed ahead and take left. At 9:20, the pilot claimed that they were crossing Krishna River and hoped to get some opening. At 9:20:59, the pilot in command noticed transmission oil related problem and directed the co-pilot to take out the checklist. However, till 9:26:58 hours, the co-pilot could not find the related page pertaining to transmission oil related emergency. At 9:22:20 hours, the blip on the radar screen at ATC Shamshabad disappeared at a distance of 91.6 nautical miles from Begumpet. Again, it reappeared at 9:22:45 hours and remained on the radar till 9:23:30 hours, a distance of 94.1 nautical miles, when finally it disappeared from the radar screen. There was no deviation from the approved radial, and the helicopter was flying at 5,500 feet altitude when it disappeared. At 9:27:24 hours, the co-pilot started giving call for go around, indicating that he had noticed helicopter close to the terrain, and the dialogue uttered by the pilot in charge at 9:27:39 hours showed that the pilots attempted to move up the helicopter. The last dialogues recorded in the CVR, the cockpit voice recorder, were that of the co-pilot at 9:27:41 while he was giving repeated calls for go-around action.
Go round, go round, go round, go round action. Sir, go round action, sir, go round action.
At 9:27:42 hours, there was a siren noise indicating that the helicopter had crashed at this juncture, and the CVR stopped at 9:27:45 hours. As the helicopter did not reach its destination, efforts were made to contact the ATCs in Shamshabad and Chennai. Not getting any satisfactory answer, the government soon launched a massive search operation involving the IAF, Army, CRPF, Greyhounds, the Kurnool District Administration and the National Remote Sensing Center. The search continued for the entire day. On the 3rd of September 2009, between 8 and 8:15 a.m., the wreckage of the crashed helicopter was located at a hillock in Nallamala Reserve Forest, which is in Atmakur Mandal in Kurnool district. This was found in an area of about 566 square meters in a west-east direction. At 14 hours, bodies of all the deceased were airlifted from the crash site to the 2nd Battalion AP Special Police Campus for post-mortem examination. On 5th September 2009, the case was transferred to the CBCID and subsequently to the CBI on 8th September 2009. The CBI registered a case on 11th September 2009 to find out whether any criminal conspiracy was hatched, abetted, or attempted to kill Dr. Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy and others by causing an explosion in the helicopter, or engineering a technical snag in the helicopter leading to the crash, or sabotage by any other means. During the inquiry, different aspects that we looked into included any negligence or lapses on the part of any agency and individuals involved in ensuring the safety and security of the VIP, and whether the helicopter crash was an avoidable or an unavoidable accident. The CBI team visited the crash site on 12 September 2009 along with experts from the CFSL Hyderabad and collected 28 material objects. They again visited the crash site on 14 September 2009 and recovered 5 9mm live cartridges and Glock pistol magazine along with other articles. They found that the wreckage was scattered in an area of 2,133 square meters. The broken parts did not show any signs of an explosion. Helicopter had hit and uprooted many trees. While hitting the ground, the helicopter broke into pieces, throwing passengers in different directions. The engine portion was severely burnt and damaged. The distance between the first hit tree and the place where the engines were burnt is about 70.02 meters. None of the trees that were uprooted were burnt. Only the trunk portion of a tree where the engines had burnt was charred, and the leaves looked dry due to the heat generated while the engines were burning. Initial post-mortem reports, reconfirmed by the experts of the Institute of Aerospace Medicine, Bangalore, indicated that the injuries on the bodies of the deceased could have been caused due to compressive force. The cause of the death was due to shock and hemorrhage resulting from multiple injuries. The predominant injuries were on the right-hand side, and the body parts not blown indicated that there was no explosion. The burns on the body were perimortem, that is, after the death. Experts of the National Aerospace Laboratories, Bangalore, inspected the crash site and the wreckage on the 5th November 2009 and the hangar on 16 November 2009 to study the failed parts. After analysis, they reported that the helicopter had crashed onto the ground under high impact forces and that the wreckage distribution and burn marks at the crash site suggested post-accident fire leading to explosion of the fuel tanks, resulting in burning debris all over. They did not find any evidence to suggest explosive detonation either in air or during impact on the ground. They also concluded that the helicopter control system did not fail in the air, but they failed simultaneously during the impact of the helicopter on the ground. After 9:12 am, the pilots did not call either ATC Chennai or ATC Shamshabad for any help. Call analysis of the mobile connections carried by the deceased did not disclose any call or SMS just before or after the crash. Call data of the individuals, that is the technical armed guards, bomb detection and disposal squad, government officials were secured and analysis did not disclose any suspicious connection. Antecedent verifications were carried out in respect of the staff of the Andhra Pradesh Aviation Corporation Limited who handled the Bell 430 VT APG, armed police who guarded the helicopter at the hangar, and the personnel who conducted the anti-sabotage checks on the ill-fated helicopter. These verifications did not reveal any adverse information. Scrutiny of the bank accounts and email accounts of the pilots and all other personnel involved with the helicopter did not reveal any suspicious data or mails. The weather radar data from Anantapur and Hyderabad and the Kalpana satellite data indicated that CB clouds were present above Nallamala forest at the time of the crash. A low pressure was reported and southwest monsoon was active at the time. While the inquiry was on, the son of Dr. YSR Shekhar Reddy, Mr. Y.S. Jaganmohan Reddy, MP Kadapa, told CBI that some prominent people in the country had reasons to eliminate his father in case the CBI inquiry reveals any sabotage or conspiracy. This allegation was also looked into and it was found that there was neither conspiracy nor sabotage. The Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India, appointed a committee headed by Sri R.K. Tyagi, which conducted a technical investigation and reported that the certificate of airworthiness of the helicopter was current and valid. Both the engines were operating normally and capable of producing power at the time of impact. They also concluded that the main gearbox and gears were found to be in good condition and no degradation due to lack of oil pressure was observed. No sign of overheating was observed. They felt that the helicopter had encountered severe downdraft at the crash site. They felt that the crew got so engrossed with the observed snag that they neglected the weatherhead and experienced severe downdraft, which led to severe loss of height and impacting on the ground. The committee concluded that the probable cause of accident was due to loss of control, resulting in uncontrolled flight into the terrain at a very high rate of descent due to entry into the severe downdraft. The contributory factor, according to them, was a snag noticed by the crew, distracting their attention for more than 6 vital minutes from the prevailing weather conditions due to loss of situational awareness. The committee also said that the crew flew under instrumental meteorological conditions, whereas the flight path was cleared for visual flight rules. Finally, the crew had no intention either to divert or return back to base. The CBI also tested the same batch of jet aviation turbine fuel, which did not reveal any contamination. The aeroshell turbine oil, hydraulic fluid, and grease used for the maintenance of Bell 430VT APG were found in conformative standards and no contamination was noticed. As per the crash site coordinates, the deviation was only 2.311 kilometers from the approved flight path of 172 radial from Begumpet Airport to Chittoor. The CBI also studied the allegation why the second helicopter of the state government, Augusta Westland AW139, which was a fairly new and sophisticated one, was not used for the flight. A detailed inquiry proved that the helicopter was genuinely down for maintenance, and there was a delay in initiating the process, which led to the use of the ill-fated Bell helicopter. The final conclusion of the investigation is that none other than the pilots are responsible for the crash, as they chose to go ahead with the flight despite encountering adverse weather conditions. They wasted precious time trying to find a manual noting on the transmission oil related problems instead of taking a decision to land at a nearby safe place or return back to base or change the flight path. There was no sabotage or conspiracy as per all the evidence available, and it was an accident which could have been averted.
CBI conducted a very detailed investigation into this helicopter crash, and at the end of the investigation, CBI concluded that there was no sabotage into this helicopter crash, and the aspect of engineering any technical snag which led to the helicopter crash was also ruled out. On that fateful day, the weather conditions were very bad en route. In fact, the pilots should have taken a decision to come back, or they should have returned to the base station, but still they proceeded ahead. En route, the weather was so bad, and during this travel, they encountered a very insignificant technical snag, like called the oil transmission pressure or the transmission oil pressure. I mean, the inquiry concluded that this particular indication could have been because of a false indication, which all the inquiry committees have concluded, and also that particular snag was not a very important snag that the pilot and the co-pilot should have devoted almost 6 minutes of time on that issue. I mean, they could have landed the somewhere, or they could have come back, but in spite of this, they had decided to go ahead, and in the process, they entered into the cumulonimbus clouds which were prevalent there, which were there. Because of the entry into the cumulonimbus clouds, the helicopter lost its altitude. Because the pilots were engrossed in this conversation into this minor technical issue, the helicopter started losing its altitude. By the time the pilot and the co-pilot realized that, but it was too late, the helicopter had come very close to the ground and they could not do anything. Ultimately, the helicopter crashed. So, the CBI, after a detailed investigation, concluded that this helicopter crash was because of human error and it was a pure accident.